Right, today we're going to be getting on with starting the frame, or making a start on getting the frame together. In particular, the yoke. So this is an oil-in frame, T120 yoke, lower yoke, and that's a dry frame. So I've been doing a little bit of messing about, a little bit of measuring up. At the moment it's all theory, so I don't know whether it's going to work or not, but I've made a couple of spaces up and bushes to basically use the dry frame cup and cone ball setup to fit this oil-in frame yoke. And I've also got a little bit of footage from before this was all painted up, which I'll put in the video. Yeah, and that's the top one. I have just put some new P-clamp bushes in there, rubbers. So that's that. There's a couple of new bolts to go in the frame as well. The ones that are in there, I don't think they're quite right, so we'll do that as well. And had a little trip to a little auto jumble yesterday, and managed to get hold of another part for the bike. This is a 7-inch Lucas flat back headlight, which will do very nicely. Don't think, looking at it, this has ever been fitted. It's in really good condition, and I didn't pay a lot of money for it, which is always good. New parts at second-hand prices, that's what we like. Yeah, so that's another little part to add to the pile, which is going to be a big pile because, like I said in the introduction, I've got very little parts for this. I've basically just bought an engine, a frame, some wheels and odd bits and pieces that came with it. I wouldn't recommend this as a way to build a bike. I have done this before with the Bantam, obviously fewer parts on the Bantam, so yeah, that wasn't so bad, but yeah, we'll have to see how it goes anyway. Got my hat on today, a little bit chilly in the hair, and when you ain't got no hair you need a hat, believe me. Right, so anyway, let's get on with it. So just doing some work to the top yoke for the T120. I've got some new bushes to go in there, which I'll press in a little while. These ones I think is press out quite easy, so I'm not too worried about these. Could do with some new rubbers. Look okay on the bottom. These top ones are looking a little bit worse for wear, but they're quite easy to press out. Yeah, what I want to do before I paint this, I want to get this steering lock out. Not sure if that's actually, looks like that might actually be damaged, actually bent over at the bottom there. And there's no number on the top that I can get a key to match it anyway. So I think I'm just going to take it out. And this is a number actually I stamped on the barrel itself or something. But it does look like it might be damaged anyway. So right, to get this out, I do believe there is a small cap there which covers up a grub screw. So I think what you have to do is drill that out, and then you can actually get at the grub screw. So that is what I'm going to attempt to do now and see how we get on. And then I'll give it a, well, probably knock these out and then give it a paint. Well, actually I'll get those in first, I think, before I paint it. Might be a good idea. Yeah, so let's have a go at drilling that out. Right, so I've got a That's either 3 or 3.5mm drill bit in there. I'm going to drill off to one side. There is always already a little bit of a dent just in there. So I shall start there. And hopefully if there is like a slot or something below, I won't actually damage it too much. Went in, or was that just pushed in the chuck a little bit through. Might be through. I need to ping that out of there if I can. Not enough to get hold of. Let's try that again. Hoping I might be able to ping that out of there. Oh, here we go. That's that out. Little cap piece. Yeah, I've gone a little bit into the slot I'm looking for. There it is on the lathe. A bit of WD. Just let that soak in there for a bit, and a decent screwdriver. That's probably too big. Let's try this one first. Something's turning. Right, I'll keep hold of that grub screw. A little grub screw. This should knock out now. Say this is bent over at the bottom here, so it might be a bit tight. Bigger hammer might be better. I'm using this little thing. Here it comes. There we are. It is a little bit mashed up there. There's sort of stamping on there. That there, I don't think that's actually a key number or anything. No. I'm just going to have to get a new one. Don't think that's a key number. I'll just get a magnifying glass. Let's see what we're looking at. Oh no, that's just the patent number. No numbers on there, unless it's on the, I don't know if the internal piece comes out. Well, you might even see better where that's bent over there. Right, anyhow, that is out. So yeah, I think we'll just press, I think these will come out fairly easily. These rubbers. That one isn't very good at all. Let's get this in here. Bit small. Oh, that's moving. One push, spacer, and these little rubbers should just pull out now. See if I can get this bottom one out undamaged, because I think that is okay. Yeah, bottom one is okay, so just need a new one on each of these top ones. Right, so I'll just get that other one out, press in these, which do feel like they're quite a good fit. So that might be a bit of a challenge. Yeah, and then clean that up and give it a paint. Right, to get these tri-frame coupling cones to fit this oiling frame stem, I've made up a couple of spacers. This first one, it's just made out of aluminium, is to raise the height of the cone, because normally that there would be tape roller bearings on here. That's your bearing surface, contact area there, and again at the top. Yeah, and this little collar at the bottom here, I think is so when the bearing sits on there, there's space for the, I think they have a built-in, or come with a seal that goes in that gap there. So I think that's why that is there, and also to get the right height, obviously. So I've got that to go on there to raise the height of this to somewhere near where I think it should be, and obviously that is much too big to go on there. This is 3/4 inch thereabouts, and the dry frame stems are an inch, maybe more, slightly more than an inch, so you get a tight fit. So I have made this little collar, which is a very good fit inside there. I won't push that in because I've got to do a little bit more work to do this as yet. Yeah, so that fits inside there, and obviously over there. Now the other problem is, once that's obviously on, this could potentially ride up, and then your bearing would be slapping all over the place, which is not a good idea. So I was thinking of a couple of solutions for that. Could either just put some bearing Loctite on here, would probably hold it okay. I did think about maybe just putting it on spot weld just to stop it rising up. But then if ever you want to take it off for whatever reason, you'd have to grind the spot weld away. So what I think I'm going to do is tap and drill a little grub screw in there and just have a little indent in the back of the stem just to lock that in place to make sure it can't ride up. And obviously once that is over, that grub screw, if I make it so it's flush with there, is not going to be able to back out. So that should make that nice and secure. So that's the bottom end. And for the top end, and incidentally, these stems, there are two different thread sizes, coarse and a fine thread. This is a coarse threaded one, which I think is 1971. I think 72 they went for finer thread. So you have to make sure you get the correct top nut. But aside from that, this is the top cup and cone. So that is the, obviously you have the same problem, it's much too big. But there is this Triumph part, which is part number 97-4145, fits the BSA A75 and T150, 71 to 72, A75, not sure about the 150, which is a good fit on there. And fits in there, although that's not a terribly good fit. I did get this part number off a forum, they said that's the thing to use, but that's not actually a terribly good fit in there, so I may even end up turning up a similar thing to that on the lathe, but with a better fit in here. But that will do to get it together, and that is something I can always take off at a later date and change out. But just for the purposes of seeing whether this is actually going to work or not, that will do. And obviously that sits under there. Right, so that is that. What I will now do is see if I can get that over there now that I've painted this, because I actually measured this before I painted this, so and it was quite a good fit then, so it's going to be an even better fit now, I would guess, though it's aluminium, so hopefully it will give a bit. Yeah. Right, so that's gone on there, so that will now raise the height of that to there. So what I will do next is sort out some kind of, so I have to tap and thread that. I'll see what sort of grub screws I got, and get that piece on, and yeah, we'll go from there. Right, little M4 grub screw in there. I'll hold that in place. That is absolutely rock solid on there. I mean, that was a good interference fit anyway. Like I say, probably with a bit of bearing Loctite that would have been fine. But for my own peace of mind, I would rather have something mechanical there. So this should now fit over there, and that is a very good fit. So I may even need to, oh, here we go, may even need to tap that on a bit. Get this off my paperwork before I ruin that, all my calculations. Right, I'll find a bit of tube and I'll just knock that on completely. Right, so that is that bit done. So all I need to do now is knock the cutlass back in, and we can have a go at assembling. Right, that's the top one. And they do the same with the lower one, and they will both be in. Right, that's 20 1/4" bearings on there, balls, and they do the top brace the same, and we'll put the two halves together, hopefully. Or we'll end up with a load of ball bearings over the floor, one thing or the other. But yeah, they shouldn't really go anywhere now. Right, 20 bearings in there, so we can do this in one without getting everything all over the floor. I've got the other parts I need just within reach, so hopefully we shouldn't have too much trouble. He says. You kind of have to watch two ends at once. This, right, I think that's there. Let's pop that bit on first, and this is where we might run out of thread. Cool. Yeah, just as I thought. That is rather short. This is the untried piece of the puzzle. The only thing it could possibly do is remove the spacer from the bottom, which would mean that lower bearing hasn't got so much to register on, which would be a bit of a shame. Unless that nut We'll go inside there. I don't know. No, because it has to bear down on top of this to compress, doesn't it? Yeah. I thought that might be a little bit of a problem, and it is. So, yeah, what a shame. I don't think there is going to be enough thread on there, because that is set in. That is just not going to. No, it's not even going to start. Yeah, this is why you really want a T151. Initially it looks like it might be okay. So, back to the drawing board. I think I do this. I don't lose my balls, so to speak. Top one will be fine, like that. They won't be going anywhere. Right, yeah, so try losing that. Lower spacer ring is the next thing. Right, there we are. That's that piece removed, so I can then get this further down. The only reason I want to put that on there is because this will now only register halfway up this. It's a little bit of a looser fit down here, so hopefully that'll be enough to keep it centralised and in place. And obviously that is going to be further down there, so I have just put some thread lock on that grub screw to make sure that doesn't back out. So what might give us another, well, not much really. So I still don't know if this is going to work. But, it is supposed to be possible, but from the threads that I've read, and yeah, trying to find a T150 one of these is pretty difficult. So I'm going to have to try and make this work somehow. Yeah, the top part, that top hat bush, may have to come up with some other idea, maybe even a sleeve that will go right the way over, so the top has got something decent to register on. Yeah, let's see how far this one there goes. Right, let's give this another go. Looks like they're sitting back a little bit now. I wonder if that bottom race is in the frame square. I think I've got balls in there, right? So to speak. Looks okay, perhaps it's just looks strange until it's pulled up. Right. A little bit more thread there, but is it going to be enough? What we need, yeah, I don't think there's going to be enough. It's hardly, maybe one thread on there, and that's so tight. I don't think this bottom race is in here square, you know. guess I need to take a little bit out of here. It's tight. I think I did see something in the forums about that, taking a little bit out of this lower web. Right, because that is only held on with one thread maybe. Yeah, and that's not sitting there square at the bottom. So I think maybe what I need to do is remove some material off this web just here, because that is hitting the bottom of the frame. So this isn't, that's why it wasn't coming out square. So this isn't going up far enough. Right, let's have a go at that. Right, just got that set up in the mill. I'm just going to have to take these little bits off. Fortunately will mean I'll need to repaint it, which is a bit of a pain, but there we are. Yeah, that is really well clamped in there. Some very convenient clamping points. So yeah, I won't bother videoing this. I'm just going to run the end mill along and take these little bits out. So nothing very exciting. Right, so that's two little pieces milled out there. I'm just going to have to run a round file that way across each one of those, because it is still contacting this little casting here before the stops hit there. So yeah, just needs a little bit out that way. I can do that with a round file, that'll be fine. And then I think whether I should paint it first or try it. So once I put it on there, I don't really want to be taking it off again. So I think I might just paint it in the hope that this time it's going to work. Yeah, go with that. Right, paint is wet on there, so I can't really do any more today. I have just reduced the length of this nut a little bit, so I have, so it can catch more threads basically when they go on there. Catch more threads before the before it bottoms out on the bearer. Yeah, so hopefully that will help a little bit. Right, I wasn't too happy about the way this top part bush, this Triumph part or BSA part, fits in the top there. It just, there's too much wiggle for me. So I've actually made one which is, well, that will need pressing in there. Actually, that is a really good fit. Also made it a little bit longer. Probably didn't really need to, but just had that length of material, so I thought I'd use it all. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll press that in there, and that will give me a much tighter fit in this part here. I couldn't really see any other alternative apart from maybe a couple of spot welds on there, but then this is plated, so you don't really want to be, I'd have to take all the plating off to do that. I think this might be stainless, I'm not too sure. There's the old doodah. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, very magnetic, so probably not stainless. But yeah, that was just, you'll see that's not a very good fit there. Probably could even get a feeler gauge in there. Yeah, too much play, so hopefully this will work better. This is only aluminium, but I think that'll be okay. It's only to take the, where the top nut tightens up. So I'll get that fitted and then get that back on the bike. Right, there we are. T120 oiling frame yokes in T120 or TR6 frame, dry frame. I think I'd call that a success. We got clearance at the bottom there. This hits the stops. There I cut these webs back a little bit, so that now fits that lovely. And I've probably got about 4 or 5 threads on this nut where I trimmed that down. Could even take that a little bit more. Don't know where they normally stick up like that, probably not, so I could even trim a little bit more off that top nut, and that would bring that down a little bit. That yeah, I think that will work okay. So I've just got to do some bolts on the frame. I'm just doing a couple of odd bits of this frame. Just put some new nuts on there. The ones were alright, just a little bit rusty. And there was only one spring washer, so put one on each side. These ones were missing, which I've got. And these are, well, apart from being odd, I don't think either one of them is correct. So I've got some new bolts to go in there, each of these and these, so I'll get those in. Yeah, and that'll be the subframe attached correctly then. Yeah, that's funny. That's 11/16 that the nut, and the head of the bolt is 5/8. Definitely something not right there. I think what we'll do is do these one at a time, put them all in loose, and then and tighten them all up afterwards. Just not to say I'm not too bothered with reusing this bolt for anything I don't expect. Just tap that out. Crusty. And these are what should be in there, which are 7/16 by 2 3/4. We've got nylock that end. See, that way round I would think. Flat washer. Lock. Let's say I'll just put it in loose. And wherever that is, looks like it's a 1/4. No, is it? No, something metric, I reckon. Yeah, something completely wrong. Right, got some other one to go in there. Flat washer, nylock, and these 2 bolts here which are 7/16 inch and a quarter UNF with a spring washer. Which doesn't want to start. Let's try the other side. That one started. A little bit of manipulation, I think. Oh, I started now. Right, well, I'll just get those tightened up, and that'll be that bit done. Right, that's those on. Not sure I really like that little washer under that side. I might even put one on there, although parts list number 20 plain washer does only list 2, so yeah, just looks a bit odd without a washer under that head, but perhaps that's how it's meant to be. Yeah, so that's that bit done. I'll flip this back over so we can continue, and then I think forks will be the next thing. Yeah, so that'll be the next video, I reckon, putting the forks in. I've got some new stanchions, O-rings, yeah, I think that'll work okay.